2020 coming to an end, and we are getting ready to enter 2021. Many people wondering, myself included, can Bitcoin continue the crazy gains, the crazy bull run that is entered in the last few months? What are targets to the upside? What are targets to the downside in the short term as we enter the new year? What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that subscribe and like on the way in. I appreciate it. Happy New Year to you if it's New Year as you watch this video. Check this out. Happy New Year is marked on the screen. This is the hourly chart. That is 2021. A lot of people right now wondering, can Bitcoin, break $30,000 before we get there? Maybe. But we're going to talk about what's going on this hourly chart. I think there's a lot of really important things to watch for on the hourly. I want to break it down for you. And let's start real quick with a clip from yesterday. And then we have this area that is just 100% in play right now as support. This is the only area that I feel like I can watch and track. It's right around $27,009. I would just say $28,000 at this 618 line, down to around $27,600 or so. All right, so that's an important Fibonacci support that we did in yesterday's video. Now, if we redo that, because I think we got a slightly higher swing high, but we can really chart this again, a swing low right here to that swing high. It's an official upper trend line touch. And here it is. This is the Fibonacci we were talking about yesterday in yesterday's video. It's the 618 to 786. And Bitcoin, you can just see, touched that area. Again, right? This keeps happening, everybody. And this is why we use Fibonacci retracement. The volatility on the short term, and this works on the macro charts too, is just so consistent. And if Bitcoin can manage to hold these support areas, then there's still just a very solid case for continuation. And this is the very simplest level. It's the very simplest illustration of what it looks like. Bitcoin holding support. The bulls, and you can just see this hourly candle, both of these hourly candles, the bulls continuing to charge with their momentum on the hourly chart. So that's kind of where we are. And this was a second touch to the lower trend line, and the Fibonacci support held, and here we are. And by the way, we haven't had much separation from that area. And let me just rechart that, because that's still a very important key support area. Bitcoin can kind of trickle along that as it consolidates and puts in this official higher low, right? And that would maybe be better presented on a 6-hour chart if this plays out sideways for a while. But getting rid of that now, what's going on here is we're seeing the structure finally being formed that we talked about. We need to see structure on Bitcoin. Well, here it is, and it's an ascending broadening wedge. Now, a lot of people view these as bullish, and we talk about ascending channels so often on this channel, and we make the case that oftentimes, even in a bullish atmosphere, especially in a bullish atmosphere, I should say, Bitcoin just continues to defy the odds and breaks to the upside out of these patterns. Going over to Balkowski on the patternsight.com, this is where I use a majority of the technical analysis you see on this channel. If you want to go study it and learn it, feel free, the patternsight.com. But he talks about the ascending broadening wedge. Now, we don't have much. It's downward 52% of the time, and you can see that right here. And this is based off of a lot of trades, 690 perfect trades. This is true data. And this is one of those patterns. It's really 50-50. And, going back to this hourly chart, if I could find it, we get this sense of uncertainty as we view this hourly chart. And we get this sense of uncertainty in terms of, well, can Bitcoin actually defy this ascending broadening wedge? We don't have kind of that continuation pattern like a symmetrical triangle where we have a little bit more confidence in Bitcoin. So I want to go over to this chart, and I want to just talk about targets. This is really why I wanted to do this video. Targets out of this broadening wedge, ascending broadening wedge, are very simple. They're very plain. They're very clear. And we're going to talk about this. The $31,600 target to the upside, right around there. 31,500, I should say. And then right here, this is 27,200 or so. And let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that. So those are the two targets, downside and upside. It's in play. And we're going to hit one of those targets. So I continue to say on this YouTube channel, take the data, run with it, do what you will. Are you comfortable with either of these scenarios playing out? That is why we do technical analysis. But we do continue to monitor support areas to really get a sense of confirmations of what's going to happen. So the other thing on this chart I want to talk about is kind of this other pattern that's potentially in play, which is this head and shoulders. You have to be kind of careful of right now. And we don't have a right shoulder yet, but I want to just discuss that in this video. We can take our Fibonacci retracement now, and the inverse of support, we're looking for resistance, and it would particularly be lower high resistance. So our swing high at the upper trend line to our most previous swing low. And you can see if we zoom in here, if Bitcoin continues to get resistance, which it already has on the hourly chart, and we see resistance up to around $29,000, continued resistance at $29,000, that's the 786, to around $28,800, continued resistance there, and Bitcoin touches this trend line again, we have a head and shoulders in play. And from that moment, we're going to have to track this neckline, and it's an ascending neckline, and you have to track that support, because then we get into the territory of not only potentially making our way to this ascending broadening wedge target right around 27,100 that we just talked about, but we have another confluent targets from a confluent pattern, the head and shoulders, and that's in 26,600. And so we have these downside targets. Now, interestingly enough, and this is important to note, if Bitcoin makes a move like that, the first target, it's a 5% move, everybody. The second target is a 7% move. Dips like that, right, up to 10% or so, they've been scooped up. And we've seen some pretty bullish looking wicks out of moves like that. And if you zoom out here on, and actually let me go to this, let me zoom out here on this hourly chart. If you zoom out here, this is kind of the story, and we talked about this yesterday. Bitcoin has just kind of taken breaks along the way in these parabolic gains, right? Here's some consolidation with some dips, Bitcoin hitting targets to the downside. You can just see this was a rising wedge, and Bitcoin hit a target to the downside. But it ended up being bullish for bullish continuation. So even though we're talking about these downside moves, it's like a 7% move, everybody. These targets are nothing for Bitcoin to drop into the 26,000s. It's a $2,000 move from where we are right now. This could be the setup for bullish continuation, going into the first week of January or so. And this is an hourly chart. So remember that we're tracking this very quickly. So those are the downward targets, but I got to mention this upward target, $31,600, $31,500. If Bitcoin just breaks that Fibonacci resistance, and I know I'm a little zoomed out here. Let me kind of zoom in here. Bitcoin breaks that resistance. There's no head and shoulders in play. We start testing that upper trend line. Maybe we bounce back down, finally break out. This could take a day or two, right? This could take a few days. This is an ascending, broadening wedge. So you got to let this play out and bounce around a little bit. But if Bitcoin does that, Bitcoin will have basically broken just that $30,000 area. And we've been doing a lot of comparisons. And let me go right here. So this is 2019. Bitcoin made that run to $14,000. We've been doing a lot of comparisons to that run that Bitcoin had. And the comparison basically lies within Bitcoin doing the same exact thing as it did back then in 2019, this entire parabolic run. And the similarities would have Bitcoin hitting $30,000. And this is what it looks like on the daily chart. We charted this exact speculative move, and it was basically the move in 2019 from this swing low, comparatively, the swing low from around December 10th, if you remember. And we've just been well on our way to just hitting this swing high. Interestingly enough, if you go back to that last move, Bitcoin in 2019 hitting that swing high, it actually broke out of a rising wedge. And it's a rising channel that many people may have been very bearish on. And this is what I'm talking about. Bitcoin in bullish environments, it just defies the odds. And look at this. Last trend line touch, and Bitcoin just boom. Higher highs, higher lows on the hourly, explode through the upper trend line, everybody. So going back to the daily chart, this could play out for Bitcoin. Bitcoin hitting the swing high, 30,000 plus on the daily chart, and then maybe we get some more consolidation. At the end of the day, that's a very bullish scenario for Bitcoin, and I continue to monitor, and we continue to kind of track Bitcoin just getting that separation to the upside out of those bull market doors Down here, you can see the bottom of the screen. That's the bull market doors. And Bitcoin just so far overextended from that area, which is so bullish. From that 786 line, Bitcoin overextended 76% right now. And that's the bull market doors, everybody. We've talked about it so often on this channel. The swing high, bull market high, bear market low, and you can see the 786 line, and I didn't chart that perfectly, but you get the point, right in the $16,000 range, the bull market doors. And as Bitcoin gets that separation, we can always just anticipate potential consolidation, because look at this daily chart. It's ridiculous looking, right? Look at this. Bitcoin's just making moves. And so we talked about in yesterday's video, and I just want to make a note of it once again. If we take our Fibonacci retracement on the midterm, this last swing low of consolidation to our current swing high, we have this entire area down here. If you're keen to buy and accumulate in a bull market, that would be, for me, just a heavier accumulation buy, right? And that's like $22,000 down to $20,000 or so. A lighter buy for me might be this previous swing low right here, that last swing low of consolidation to our current swing high. And a lighter buy area would be a consolidation of right below $25,000 down to $23,500. So those are two areas, right? If you're interested in accumulating Bitcoin on the way up, that's what I'm looking at. Don't know if it will happen, but always monitoring that. It's extremely important to do so. Somebody in a comment called me a naysayer for talking about dips like that, but that's just crazy. I mean, that would only be like a $5,000 move to the downside. We just had a $3,000 move to the upside in like one day yesterday. And so these volatile moves are very possible. Be prepared for them. But that's what I'm looking at. Targets to the upside, we have $31,500 to $600. Targets to the downside, right now, it's basically $27,100. This head and shoulders is not in play yet. That's just speculatively, potentially, if there's short-term resistance here at this Fibonacci retracement, that could be in play, in which we have a target to the 26,000s, which again, it's not a lot. It's like 7% or so. So what's going to happen into the new year? Listen, I don't know. I'm just sharing the data with you. I'm tracking the technicals. I'm looking for confirmation myself. I'm watching the charts. It's all we can do. At the end of the day, use a little bit of wisdom and patience to calculate your portfolio, calculate the moves that you're making, and ask yourself, am I comfortable here? Am I overextended? Do I need a little bit more Bitcoin? Just ask those simple questions and find the simple answers and solutions based on the data on the screen. That's what we're all about on this channel. Happy New Year to all of you. God bless you. God bless your family. As we go into 2021, I'm so hype. I'm so bullish on Bitcoin and just growing this YouTube channel and just having some fun with all of you as we kind of continue the crypto journey. So appreciate each and every one of you. Hit that subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit that like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.